Welcome back to the Sightless Dungeon. I'm your host, Brendan the Blind Guy, and always remember the adventures here in the dungeon are always a journey, but the stories that we discover are treasurable. Today will be an interesting podcast. I'm here with a special guest from InNoSearch to talk about how their services works and how it makes it easier for those who are blind or visually impaired shop. So basically, you can say their services are lending AI to the blind to make it easier for us to shop. So, Patrick, welcome to the Sightless Dungeon. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. Thanks for setting all this up. I'm very excited to be here and very happy to share more about InnoSearch.
Yes, it's a very interesting service that you guys provide. It was weird how I was introduced to your service. You may have heard of another blind YouTuber by the name of Sam the Blind Life. He was actually, talking about how your services and how it makes it easier to shop. So I believe you guys launched that. I'm not sure how long ago, but it was still like in this beginning phase. But you guys have developed the service pretty long now and have introduced a lot of new things. So why don't we go ahead and get started with so why did you guys decide to create a service to help those who are blind and visually impaired and make it easier to shop?
Yeah, so happy to share about that and glad that you heard about us from Sam CV from The Blind Life. I know Sam does a lot of uh, reviews of assistive technologies, and we were very lucky to be covered by him. And I know a lot of people follow him. So glad that you were able to discover us on his platform. So a bit about the background and sort of idea of InnoSearch. I would say we actually stumbled across this idea sort of accidentally. My co-founder and I, Brian, actually was experimenting with generative AI, particularly the large language models like ChatGPT and Google Gemini. And at first, we were just testing the boundaries of what AI could do, right? We were just playing around with it, see the potential. And we realized as we were searching and sort of learning about accessibility, how different websites are designed, that even the most basic tasks, right? Things like booking an airline flight or shopping online was very incredibly difficult for people who are blind and low vision. So after digging more, right, we found that websites today are primarily designed for sighted people, and accessibility for all is often an afterthought, right, when web designers build websites, because a lot of times they optimize only for the sighted, since that's primarily where their revenue comes from. And accessibility for the different marginalized populations are just not a focus, right? And after speaking with a lot of blind and low vision people, we found that this confirmed our hypothesis that this is true. Right? Many have expressed frustration about how hard it is to do very simple things online. And then we found that AI could be a solution to this problem and create a huge opportunity for us to create a digital bridge to access all essential digital services for people who otherwise, struggle with that. So that's sort of the idea and sort of background, how we got started. I'll pause there if you want to ask any further questions or dig deeper into that.
Not quite, but just a little, yes, because recently, I've been shopping, and most blind people have been shopping on their phones using voiceover or talkback, and some of us have been seeing a decline in accessibility for some of these online vendors like Amazon, right? So, it has become hard for us to, navigate to products, even to read, product descriptions and things and such, just to get, more information about products. And it just, like you said, accessibility is always an afterthought for some, software programs and things and such. It kind of makes it difficult, like in the world like today, digital, where everything is basically almost done online now. And, things can make it harder or easier. And, shopping, we do a lot of shopping, of course, because going to stores or doing things like shopping for food, groceries, clothing, technology, it has become a little harder, and it's kind of makes it challenging for a lot of us to find the product that we need at a particular time. So I can see like InnoSearch being a great service because I've used it a little bit, and when I first started, play around with it, I found it very fascinating. I'm like, oh, interesting. I can see like different prices, how it's rated, some reviews and things and such, and it makes it kind of in line with the service or making it easy to, kind of understand what I'm looking for and, about the product I'm about to buy. So I find it great that you guys have developed a great service that, helps, people who are blind and visually impaired shop. And I can see that a lot of people have been talking about, new things and rumors and things and such. So like on AppleVis, I've seen some rumors of different features that you guys might think of or, things you might actually tell us today, what kind of updates and things are going on behind the scenes, what can we expect in the future. So I know that,
Yes.
oh, yes.
Go ahead. Sorry, Brandon.
Yes. So I know that when you stop on InnoSearch, most of the concerns what I have seen, or even for myself, because this is where it started between you and I's our conversation to getting here on the Sightless Dungeon. So one of my curious concerns is like, you guys have over 500,000 vendors that we can shop from, or even more by now, depending on, frequent updates or things and such. The checkout process, right? So as you know, if we're shopping on different vendors, when we check out, so how is that progress like? So if I buy something from InnoSearch, from Amazon, how is that checkout process like?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I just wanted to address some of your earlier points. I would say we very much listen to the community, and we on our team actually have three uh, totally blind individuals. The person who is designing our site, Akash, is born blind, and he actually taught himself how to code. So we build very much with the feedback and the perspective of the blind and low vision, and that's how we've actually been able to improve on the product. So a lot of the stuff and discussions that you've seen on sites like AppleVis, we monitor that very closely, right? And we listen to our users. So what we build really solves their pain points. Okay. So in regards to the checkout, it's interesting that you mentioned that. That actually came from feedback from our customers. So if you might have used prior versions of InnoSearch, we plugged directly into the Stripe interface. Okay. And when we did that, we couldn't really control the checkout flow because we were just redirecting to Stripe's webpage, right? And a lot of users said, certain aspects of it were inaccessible, right? And challenging to use. So recently, we spent some time actually, I think close to 2 months, trying to perfect and create a new type of user flow. Basically, now the entire checkout process is done. Although we still use Stripe, each component of the Stripe checkout flow is broken down, right? Each element, so that it can be easily navigated using your screen reader. So we no longer redirect to the Stripe page. You can now do it directly on the InnoSearch website, and we break down each component so it interacts nicely with your screen reader. And our users obviously have loved it. So that's a recent improvement. I would also say, also from feedback of users, a lot of folks mentioned to us that a lot of times they may not shop for random things, right? Most of the time, they just don't browse and look for items. They actually prefer to purchase groceries or food because a lot of apps like Instacart is not very accessible, right? So a new feature coming probably early to mid June. Um, we plan to roll out groceries and food delivery across all 50 states in the United States. And so you'll be able to purchase, your groceries from your local supermarket or local um, restaurants and have it to your door within an hour. So we're recreating the new user experience. So it'll be very accessible. You can very quickly find what you're looking for, place the orders, and get it very quickly. So that's something that we're very excited by since consumer staples is something people order very frequently, right, on a daily basis. Um, and yeah, I think the users should love it. And it's coming very soon.
But yes, it's very interesting because, for me becoming blind, I find it difficult shopping for groceries because, there's so many places where you can get your groceries from here in the United States, depending on like different states that you live on. Because as you know, all 50 states, we all don't have the same grocery stores, and sometimes we do. But still, it comes hard, trust someone like, an e-shopper, you might tell them, I need a gallon of a milk. And all of a sudden, you have a gallon of bleach. It just
Yeah,
I
absolutely. It's not easy, right? And obviously going to the store is a lot of hassle, right? So the blind and low vision really rely on, apps, right? Like Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever, right? And a lot of times it's not very accessible. They're always updating their app. There are changes that may break how assistive technology works with different apps. So I think this is, a good opportunity for us, right? InnoSearch, if we can have a one-stop shop where, it doesn't matter if you're using your Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever, we can connect to all those services, right? And then we'll have a comprehensive list of all possible grocery stores, all possible food delivery, and have it right at your fingertips in a very accessible format. I think that is super exciting.
Yes, indeed. So with all these new features, you have updated your checkout services and new groceries and food vendors are coming. Now, there's one new interesting feature that we haven't brought up yet. So, let's say you can, sometimes call like McDonald's, Waffle House, or whatever you might want to eat, but, sometimes you can't. So I just heard with InnoSearch AI, you can now have a call service to help people shop. So basically, you can call and look up products or, talk to the AI. And, it makes it easy. I actually discovered this on the Facebook community. I believe it was the assistive technology for blind and low vision. And, there was a person who kind of showed me the number and it was interesting. So, like, let me try this. When I did, I found it pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we actually right now about a quarter to a half of our volume of our orders actually come from the phone line. So a lot of people, I think, really enjoy it. Um, the checkout is actually very simple. You can either dictate your card to Stripe or text the information to this, and it gets entered. And it's done secure, of course, all through Stripe's platform. And yeah, a lot of people love it because they don't need to even have an internet connection. They get access to a huge catalog all on their phone line. Um, so yeah, I mean, some people actually order from a hotel phone. We had some people that were staying at a hotel. They didn't have a computer, but they needed some household items. And they just called from their, you know, hotel phone line, landline, and they were able to get some items delivered to them. So yeah, it's very interesting, and a lot of people really do love it.
Y- yes. So it's interesting about how it works and everything. I know there's a number which I will provide in the YouTube links and everything else where I will have this podcast available where you guys can use this service. So can you go in a little more depth about how can the people use this service? Because some people are not used to InnoSearch quite yet, but can you give an example how this call service works?
Yeah, the call service is really quite simple. Basically, AI is in the heart of everything that we do. Um, for our website, right, the AI helps extract and reformat content. And you can browse everything from flight listings to product catalogs in a very simplified, screen reader friendly experience. So once we have this information, right, because obviously we have launched the web version of InnoSearch first, we're able to feed this information into a voice AI, right? And that voice AI is able to listen to you, have a conversation with you, and have access to the entire catalog that our web portal also has. So through some secret sauce, we're able to connect everything together, right? And make it so that a conversation can lead to product discovery, a smooth checkout process, and then finally, you can even call and ask for the status of your orders. Since from your phone number, we're able to associate your orders to you, right? So when you call in, if you're a new user, through your phone number and caller ID, we can create an account automatically for you already, right? And because only you have access to your phone number, that basically serves as authentication. So it's a very smooth process. People have really loved it. And I would encourage, the listeners to this podcast, if shopping sometimes is a little bit inaccessible to you, give our shop by phone service a try. You can just dial 1-855 shop GPT, and then, you can access everything from there.
Yes. So again, you guys use that number, again, we're not sponsored for InnoSearch, but it's a very cool service that everyone uses. I'm going to give it a shot because I got some shopping to do in the future, looking for different things for this household. And, new audio gear. That's what I mostly have used InnoSearch so far. So I've been looking at microphones and how they show me different vendors and different prices. And, it's really interesting. And, you can also chat with an AI on their website about the product and ask questions. So it's interesting. Can you tell us more about that kind of feature? So like the little where you can chat with the AI and ask questions about the product.
Yeah. So, like you had mentioned earlier, right? The chatting with the AI to understand the types of products, the product description, um, all the product details, the specifications, right? Say you're looking for a new Logitech microphone, right? It would know, the size of it, what the audio frequencies are, right? How it stacks with the competition. Very similar to Amazon Rufus, right? It's a chat agent that is trained on all the product details on the internet, right? So you can very easily just have a conversation and they'll answer you as if it was a product expert. Let's say, your local electronics store, Best Buy, something like that. So it has all that context. So you could just type, right, and have a conversation with it. If you don't want to type and you just want to have that conversation as if you're talking to a person, that's where the shop by phone feature can be interesting because, with that, you don't even need to type. You can just talk with it, right? And it will search the database and fetch the best items for you.
Yes, it's very interesting. So we have talked a lot about InnoSearch and how it works with AI for product searching, groceries in the future, food delivery, and much more. But what's more interesting about this is that you guys also provide a flight service. Now, this is pretty interesting because I know sometimes even for traveling or blind travelers or visually impaired travelers, it could be difficult sometimes to plan a trip, get the right trip, and make sure you're going the right way. So how does InnoSearch make the process easier for us to, purchase a flight and get to the right place?
Yeah. So I would say the genesis of this idea was actually from attending a lot of blind and low vision conferences. So we were going to conferences like CSUN in Anaheim, ATIA in Florida, and just speaking with different blind and low vision people in the community. And what we've heard was flight booking and also hotel booking is just incredibly, incredibly challenging, right? And I was very curious why, right? Since, I mean, there are a lot of people who are blind and low vision that travel and get on airplanes, but why was it that it was just so challenging for them to access these sites? And it turns out that, again, right, very similar to the other e-commerce sites, a lot of airline websites are only optimized for those people who have sight, right? And they're not optimized for people that need help when traveling. Like, let's say they need to bring their guide dog with them on the plane, or they need special assistance. It's really not optimized for that experience. And that really threw off a lot of the blind and low vision travelers, right? And so we were thinking internally, could we build a better solution, right? And I think that we have one, right? We basically abstract away all the inaccessibility. We create a very, very simple way to find the best possible flight. And we have a service where we're able to help get the critical information that you need for your guide dog to travel with you, a way to connect with the airlines to make sure you can request special help if needed, right? So we incorporate all of that in the booking process, and you never have to leave the accessible InnoSearch website when making these bookings, right? So you can find the flights. You don't have to go to each individual airline's websites to make the bookings, because that can be a huge pain and very inaccessible. You can do it all on InnoSearch. And we go one step further. We have really great customer service. So you can always email the InnoSearch team, and we will do the legwork to connect with the various airlines to make sure you can get the help you need when you get to the airport. So it's a very end-to-end experience. A lot of people that have used it have told us that, wow, you guys tell me the baggage policy, you tell me when to arrive at the airport, you guys get all the special accommodation needs to the airline, and I just need to show up with my boarding pass, right, and the booking numbers, and I'm all ready to go. So people have enjoyed it, and we will continue to obviously make the service even better in the future, right? I think hotels is something we're looking at. Right now, our plates are pretty full with getting the groceries and food delivery up and running, but hotels is something in the horizon, as well as, as our flight feature continues to be used.
Well, yes, everything seems pretty good. You guys can tell, InnoSearch is working hard at it using AI. AI is in the whole world today. AI this, AI that, and you never know. So what the AI, right? So we have things like, ChatGPT, Gemini, and so much more. I find it fascinating. So for those who are blind and visually impaired, my brand logo, or the logo you might be able to see of like a character that was generated by AI, because I'm not a designer. I could never make that myself. So basically, AI has helped in many ways. A lot of fascinating ideas. Blind and low vision individuals have used it. There are a lot of different AI apps out there. Even now, with like even Apple with their with the was it Apple Intelligence, and now they have AI features similar to Gemini, where you can use it with your camera and do things. But AI in this world really has basically changed the way that it helps blind and visually impaired. Like the Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses, which are fantastic, and now with the most recent updates using live AI sessions, which is also cool. So again, AI is just helping the blind anywhere at any time. So yeah, So not only does InnoSearch do kind of, things for shopping and things such, I heard that you guys might do like interesting like connections and doing like community events and things and such. Do you guys do anything like that for the blind?
Yeah, absolutely. So we very much pride ourselves in working very closely with the community, right? I think without the community and without all the people that are supporting us, like you, Brendan, right, inviting me onto this podcast, I don't think InnoSearch would be where we are today, right? We actually barely spend any money on marketing, if at all. Um, our product has truly just grown by word of mouth, right? And so, sort of as a token of appreciation and as a way to connect with our community, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, we host game nights for the community. It's totally free to play, and it's 100% accessible for the blind and low vision. Um, and it's just like audio-based games, right? Where you can join via Zoom or landline, right? I think you can dial in as well to participate. And every week we try to host something a little bit different. Lately, we've been hosting audio escape rooms. So if you're a fan of escape rooms, we create an audio version basically where we put all the people that join in on teams, like teams of 5 to 10 people, and you'll listen to a bunch of clues and try to solve puzzles. Right? They're little riddles that you can work as a team together to solve the puzzle, and the team that finishes the fastest would win prizes. Right? And these prizes are cash, gift cards on InnoSearch. So you can use that money to buy anything that we have on our site. So it's completely free to play. And basically, we give out some freebies every week to our community members. The only thing that we ask is for you to bring your best possible attitude and sportsmanship when playing these little competitive games. And if you enjoyed your experience, for you to invite your friends, your family to also join, and just help us spread the word for InnoSearch. I think that would be great. So yeah, that's something we're doing for our community. We may do other things in the future, but for now, that's a thing that we've been doing every week, 6 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays.
Yes, and it's very interesting because I see a lot of blind YouTubers or socialists or things who do things like what we're doing here, podcast. There are also some like Discord servers and things and such, how we interact with one another. It's interesting. So, we had Patrick from InnoSearch, and this was a great interview, getting to know what InnoSearch AI does for us. Basically, again, it's basically a service that provides AI to us to help us shop easier, and it's very useful. So if you guys are having difficulty shopping online with different things, as you can see, they have, vendors such as Amazon, Walmart, and even much more. Soon we'll have food and the food deliveries. And then, if you like to travel in the future, they're working on a lot of things for that too. So thank you, Patrick, for being here on the Sightless Dungeon. It was very, very interesting to have my first big interview with someone different from, me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks so much for the time, Brandon, and all your efforts in putting this podcast together, inviting me. I'm very honored to be able to have some time to speak to your audience. So thanks so much for putting this together. And to everybody that's listening, please check us out. We're at InnoSearch.ai. And if there's any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback, good or bad, I'm happy to hear that. You can email me personally at Patrick, Patrick, at InnoSearch, InnoSearch.ai. And I'm happy to answer, and I'll try my best to resolve whatever issue that you might have.
Why, yes. So thank you again for watching another episode of the Sightless Dungeon. And always remember, the adventures in the dungeon are always a journey, but the stories that we discover are treasurable. So this is Brandon, the blind guy, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.